Well, tonight, we're the sparkling crown of the Blue Ridge, and we're going to turn that crown around a few times and turn it on its head and twist and turn until we get it right. But I think we have got it right. We've got the greatest show ever in the high country. It's Groovy Nights 6, starring the most outstanding group of entertainers ever assembled in our part of the world. Well, you know what Dizzy Dean said, it ain't bragging if you can do it. Tonight's spectacular show is brought to you by First Citizens Bank. It's a full-service and friendly community bank with big league financial strength and capability down on Main Street in our fabulous downtown Blowing Rock. Now, it's the bank that's located across from the community library. And looking at this crowd, most of you probably are a little challenged about where the community library is. However, you will realize it's also across the street from our strategic reserve of beer and wine in Blowing Rock, down at the Blowing Rock Market. And that'll be a more familiar landmark to you, so just come across there and do your banking after you go by and pick up a bottle of wine and so on. Also down there at the Blowing Rock Market, it's interesting, in Virginia, you want to take note of this. We've got a group that meets down there every morning for coffee at Blowing Rock Market, and they solve all the world's problems. Charlie Fonville and a group down there, and it's impressive. They had Afghanistan and Iraq cleaned up before the first cup of coffee was finished the other morning. Had time left over for questions, so you may want to get down there sometime and find out what you all need to do up in Congress. I'll tell you. Well, they got it, I can tell you. They're in the know down here. Now, before we start the show, I used to enjoy doing the news on radio, and this is a breaking news development. This is the real thing. We don't often do this at Groovy Nights, but we do have a breaking news development. This elderly lady, has been missing for 2 days, been located. She's been located amongst the barrels down on Valley Boulevard. Been wandering around for 2 days down there trying to find the ABC store. But you'll be glad to know she's been found, and they gave her a free fifth of liquor. And so everything's fine, and we just want her to stay home during this fall. Well, tonight's show benefits, of course, the Blowing Rock Community Foundation. And that's dedicated to serving the fine folks of this wonderful town. And this is a wonderful town with a great heritage of philanthropy. The folks like you up here have not only cared about having a good time, but cared about the dear people up here in this part of the world and doing something that's worthwhile for the fine folks up here. And the Community Foundation has done that and is doing that. We have a number of scholarship recipients in the 20s and at a number of colleges around the country, community colleges, outstanding universities, and so on. And through your generosity, this has been made possible. And we have a lot of talented young people, and that's our best investment. You folks who are in education know that, for our future. And when you see these young people, it makes you very, very optimistic about our great country and the great things that are going to happen down the road, even though I will have to say it looks a little dreary on the news every now and then. But the Community Foundation is doing a great job with those scholarships. They also make grants to a number of great community programs like the Girl Scouts, the Blowing Rock Police Department, the Blue Ridge Autism and Achievement Center, the Community Care Clinic, the Appalachian Regional Healthcare System, the Blowing Rock Art and History Museum, the Blowing Rock Historical Society, the Ensemble Stage, and other deserving organizations. And this foundation is ably chaired by Sandy Miller. And I'd like Sandy and any members of the foundation board, please stand and be recognized, if you would, please. Is Sandy out here, or she may be back there? Ramrod, but she deserves a fine round of applause. They're an outstanding group and do wonderful work for us. Now, I will say this, a little housekeeping note here. Of course, in the past, we have had some people get overheated in the audience when they see some of the exciting members of the cast, and particularly some of the guys have gotten overdone. And Well, I'm pleased to say that we have one of the finest physicians in America here as our Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Charles Bunky DeVant III. I give him a round of applause. Actually, I know it's for Tina. She deserves it more than Bunky. But anyhow, and Bunky has got this internationally acclaimed book out on gerontology, and it's a bestseller now down in Fosco and all points down that way. It's called Two Big V's for the Golden Years, Vodka and Viagra. Bunky, thank you for your dedicated research on these subjects. And that final chapter of the book talks about the 4-hour problem that you hear about every now and then with Viagra. And it's an exciting chapter. But he also has a great recipe for a vodka martini. So I know you all will enjoy that. Well, enough of these ramblings. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the greatest show in the high country. It's Groovy Night 6. Groovy Night 6 to benefit the Blowing Rock Community Foundation, a group that does wonderful work for the fine people of Blowing Rock all year long. And all of this is made possible by your great support of Groovy Night 6. Groovy Night 6 features some of the greatest entertainers ever assembled in the high country. Yes, you're going to enjoy some of the finest music and have some fun at the same time. It's a fun show, and it's done for a very good cause. Folks, it's going to be a real treat for you tonight because Groovy Night 6 always does the best to have everybody have the best possible time in the high country, most wonderful part of America. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get with it with Groovy Night 6. Like this, if money talks, it ain't speaking terms to me. How come your dog don't bite nobody but me? I like that, that's touching. This one I like very much. At the gas station of love, I got the self-service pump. This is touching. If you can't live without me, why aren't you dead yet? And this one had some real meaning, I thought. It says, I just fell in something, and I sure hope it's love. Well, when a man in Nashville comes home, which is occasionally, after running around doing all the other stuff that you hear about on the country music records, he expects to have total control, and he usually can get that total control. And Tom Paul Glazer says, get with it, brother, and put a log on the fire.